So I'm gonna be honest, I have had to take a really long break, but we'll talk about it soon. This is right around the time I kind of stopped recording, but this is a new episode, so come through and feel free to understand about what I'm talking about, the friend zone. I know, it's been 9 months. Honestly speaking, I thought that I would have something out quicker, but college is just beating my ass right now. So here, I have another video for you guys in a little bit, but let's just talk about something that's been on my mind very much recently that I've noticed. Let's talk about it. Is the friend zone real? In my opinion, I think it is only because the term is real. From what I've always believed is just, well, when you say do you want to go out with somebody and and they say I'd rather be friends, and honestly, I have a comment that best displays this because I saw this video called "The Friend Zone Isn't Real" from like the old days of BuzzFeed, and the comment below basically said exactly what I said, which is I thought the friend zone was just when you ask somebody out and they say I'd rather be friends, not this presumptuous preservation. It's the and I thought the same thing. I got like really confused. I'm like, yeah, the friend zone exists. I mean, the people who talk about it constantly are probably just the most no, not even probably are just the most annoying people. Are just these like stuck up entitled dudes. But the idea exists. So like, why would it not be real? I mean, honestly, that's what every dude deals with. You ask somebody out, they say no, and you move on. And if they're friendly, you want to keep them as a friend. They say let's be friends. You all stay friends, and that's kind of it. But I think this is just me looking into this from my May 11th, 2011 glasses, just because first time I heard about this kind of concept was through Nice Guy, through the Ryan Hagen video. But let's actually look at a counterpoint to this kind of thinking and what a lot of people say when they think like this about the friend zone.
Well, it doesn't actually exist. If someone thinks you friend zone them, then they have fuck zoned you. Very insulting when you really think about it. Basically someone pretending to be a friend so they can sleep with you. As in fake friend. And who would want to start a relationship with someone who doesn't even want to be friends with them? True friendship is valuable. True friendship that happens to turn into a partner relationship is a real relationship. In fact, friendship is the solid foundation of a good partner relationship.
That's horrible, but one thing you notice whenever they talk about this is they don't give a definition. They mainly talk about the person they don't like, which makes sense. These kind of people are horrible, but what is the actual friend zone? What are these like desperate guys always appealing to whenever they say this shit? When people complain about them, they always say stuff like this.
The friend zone is a non-existent place that people feel they are pushed into when their romantic or sexual advances and interests are not reciprocated or accepted. The friend zone is rooted in patriarchal entitlement, misogyny, sexism, and other garbage. In addition to not existing, the friend in friend zone is a misnomer because friendship should be part of any relationship and actual friends respect boundaries and don't enter into friendships with the hopes of getting something out of it.
And Blair is right, like, it's totally right. But you notice that it only gives you a small definition, and this is coming from somebody who has well-researched points, and that doesn't attract people who don't, who just do it more off of, well, not really a vlogger, but more like commentary style, you know? More like videos like this.
Women have preferences too, and if her preference is to not date you, she has no obligation to date you. Right? Because the friend zone doesn't actually exist. If a woman rejects you and you choose to stick around and her friendship isn't good enough for you, that's your problem. You put yourself in that situation and you can remove yourself from that situation anytime you want.
Correct, but that doesn't really mean the friend zone doesn't exist. It just means people are mislabeling it. They're using friendship to get a relationship, and that's why people don't really feel any sympathy for them, because you can leave like whenever you want, but just because a friend zone usually comes from rational people doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Does the friend zone actually exist?
I feel like if people just like try and make it a thing when in reality, because someone's just not interested in it.
Is it even like a friend zone? Is it not just like a
friend?
Yeah, or a nothing?
It's strange because like why has it got a name?
Yeah.
Like because somebody isn't interested in you and they just want to be your friend. Why is that like such like a downer?
Like it's such a derogatory term.
Yeah.
This kind of way of thinking I can understand with a little bit more, because yes, it's a made up thing, but almost all words are made up. But it's not really that it's made up that's the bad part. It's where it's coming from. Most people who say this are usually guys who have to pin something against a girl to make her feel bad for not wanting to be in a relationship with them. But that's kind of the reason why a lot of people don't really like this term, because when I think about it, I think about the Ryan Higa video. But you take it out of this jokey term and think about how most people think about it, you get videos like this.
The girl that decided to friend zone you has no say in your worth. See, because she doesn't know you like that. And I know that you think that she's beautiful and you want her to know you like that, and your intentions are pure, so you think that she should give you a shot. But she can't make you see her like that, even if she wanted to.
See, your intentions are pure, and she can't make you see you like that, but it more or less seems like validation, because I'm being pretty biased, because I know this person is more of a red pill drifter, but like, notice how there's no self-reflection, no how to boost yourself up, and I get it, because not every person that says the friend zone is a bad person, but these are the kind of videos you're gonna run into going on the more man side of the friend zone rabbit hole, and that kind of becomes a big problem, because one, even doing this video, I couldn't find anything that talked about how the friend zone didn't exist, so it wasn't really non-biased. And that's kind of what these algorithms do, whether it's TikTok or YouTube. And it points out that how we identify, kind of puts out how these algorithms push information towards us. And while it's a bigger conversation, it explains why it affects genders differently. It's not just like a cis male thing either. Our trans male homies go through it too, kind of explaining how everyone kind of goes through it, and it's just very common for everybody. Well, not everybody, but at least if you get into the situation, it's not just assumed to gender, or a very specific gender expression for cis males. It can be for anybody. Also, I kind of realized whenever looking up anything about trans people, they usually get put in the friend zone when they come out as trans to people that they like. Situations like this. I would be an idiot if I didn't really realize the fact that it's mostly cis dudes that are causing this problem. Because like we always get mad when we get put in the friend zone, and we use it as an excuse to hurt people and say that it's not our fault that the person is wrong. But that's just a misinterpretation of the friend zone that we keep causing. But here's the definition I agree with about the friend zone.
Really boggles my mind that people think the friend zone doesn't exist. It's very simple. When man goes and approaches or courts a woman, the woman has three options. She can either like him back, she can put him in the friend zone because she just wants to be his friend, or three, she just disregards him altogether. I'm not saying or blaming anyone for the situation, but that is the situation. The friend zone does exist, and a woman can put a man there, a man can put a woman there too.
See, that's what it is. The friend zone is just a zone where friendship is where you're not dating. The only other definition is something that is more common with guys, and it's basically this. The person they're attracted to says that we should just be friends, but they use the friendship title not really to be friends with them, but to get what I would call boyfriend benefits. Someone to listen to their problems, to basically give them money, stuff like that, but they're not really being friends back because they don't really care about the person that they've quote-unquote friend zoned. And I get that it's a harsh label, but it comes from this basically. And friendships are about mutual care and, you know, give or take. The reason why this person putting you in the friend zone isn't really a friend is because for the most part, this person is only there for your ups. They're not really there for your downs of what's happening with you. Here's the reason why I would say that this is not really the friend zone, even if it might be the first definition of it. I would call this more fair with their friends or fair with their fans. Somebody who's there for the highs, not really the lows, and it's only there when you're winning, not losing. This has nothing to do with dating. You could deal with this in the corporate world or really just anything. They are fakes, fake friends. It's not the friend zone, it's just people being fake. Honestly, if someone gives me the friend zone is bad, this person's using me, I'll give them with this response.
Friend zone is not real. It is not some space that women hold for men that they like but don't want to date because it would quote unquote ruin the friendship. The friend zone simply does not exist in that way, but I do believe it exists.
Interesting. It exists, but the guys who talk about it have a misunderstanding of the idea. So what would you define it as?
What the friend zone is, it's the consequences of what happens when men use friendship as a ploy to get some kind of sexual or romantic relationship from a woman, and then they decline, and all they are left with is the friendship they did not value to begin with.
Finally, a straight up definition. The only person who did this was probably Blair. Like, she was the one who kind of gave more of a definition. The other people really don't, so it's good to finally hear a definition. And honestly, this would be the second definition for the friend zone that I would give. These are my my last thoughts on what I would consider the friend zone. There are at least 3 definitions, starting with 1. The friend zone being positive. Basically, the person didn't like me back, so we're just friends. I don't hate it, but I would prefer to date this person. That's the positive version. And then the next version is the more offensive one, where it's a zone that somebody gets put in because they're not liked. And the reason why this is negative is because the person thinks that they're being put in the friend zone for malicious intentions, usually like that, and it's usually not. It's more like they just don't like the person like that, and that's usually why they get put in the friend zone, or what they think is their friend zone, which is why people say it doesn't exist. And it makes sense because, like, if you think that the person like just doesn't want to date you because of some zone, then you're kind of out of your mind, because that's something kind of crazy to accuse somebody of. But it's not that insane, because there are some people that do act like that, and the thing is, they're not really friends. Like I said before, it's people who want you to pretend like they're friends so they can get benefits. They don't treat you like a friend. If they're not friends, they're fair with their friends. They're just barely around to get whatever benefits they can. Which brings us to a last definition, which is, Before I answer the question, I have to say I decided to ask a few people what they thought. So I sent this text out.
I am doing a video on the friend zone. I would like to know your thoughts on it. Do you think the friend zone exists, and what would you define it as? Text me your responses.
First text I got was from the front woman of Floral District, Venus.
No, it doesn't exist, and its rhetoric is silly. People like you or they don't. That zone can only breed contempt. It's not a net positive or ethical thing that the friend zone exists as a phrase.
So that was a good answer, but let's see what the other people said.
One friend zone definitely exists, but it's nothing anyone can be mad at, tbh. If someone doesn't want to be with someone, then they don't. It's upsetting that some people can't just come out and say it. I like you, but not in that way. I'm sorry, and I hope we can still be cool. Goes a long way, you know. 2. Friend zone does exist, and I would define it as someone sees them just as a friend or brother, sister, and they'll never have any other feelings besides that. 3. It's definitely exist, and I feel it isn't a problem unless one or the another person makes it a problem. Yeah, someone may always want more from a friendship, or maybe during a moment of weakness. 4. Yeah, and where someone isn't a prospect of being a romantic partner. Last, the friend zone is a thing. You can love, crush, someone, but the feelings aren't mutual no matter what you do. You can be there for someone, give them everything you have. But you can never move past being friends sometimes. You love someone, but you can never be anything more than friends due to complications. You want to be more. But it can only happen in your fantasies.
Alright, that was the yays, now for the nays.
1. UNMMM. I don't think it exists per se, it's just rejection. 2. No, it doesn't exist, and its rhetoric is silly. People like you or they don't. That zone can only breed contempt. It's not a net positive or ethical thing that the friend zone exists as a phrase. 3. I think friend zone is a coping mechanism when the person feels rejected.
Alright, after all of this, do I think the friend zone is real? My answer is it depends. Don't get me wrong, that thing that these insecurities do to say that girls put them in their friend zone whenever it's rejection, that doesn't exist. But if we're talking about the first definition that I gave, which is, this, and that's fine, because like for the most part it's just a phrase, not meant to be taken super seriously. But don't get me wrong, it's just a small inconvenience. It's not like a giant end of the world thing. But don't get me wrong, I get that some of y'all get rejected, and that's why you keep coming to the friend zone. And to actually help you, I would give you some advice from my friend who said that friend zone didn't exist, which is this.
What would you say to someone who in good faith think there is something they can do to better themselves to see better results? Not to change the person's mind, but to come off more like a person of interest for the next person. I say, that is a journey that can take you anywhere if you do that and truly don't have a goal in mind, but do think that it would be a plus overall. There's nothing wrong with bettering yourself and thinking, they'd be happy, proud.
So it's been a year since my last post. A big apology. I've been dealing with mental health stuff, also getting back into college and joining a band. We actually put out an album. It's called Scrimmage. That's kind of the reason why I've been gone, but I'm back and I'm not just posting on TikTok like I have been for the last year. So subscribe, follow, and posted a poll so that you guys could judge too. I'm aware that me being a cis dude kind of affects how I see this. So you tell me, do you think the friend zone exists or no? Let me know. Subscribe, follow. See you next time.